Viking Cruises will compensate more than 900 passengers whose luxury cruise was ruined when a marine growth on the hull forced the ship to remain in open waters for cleaning. Leslie and Alan Todd of Baton Rouge were on board, stunned and sad. She messaged me and she gave me this interview. It's one that you'll only see on LPB. Land ho is the caption on Leslie Todd's Facebook post. It's Sydney, Australia, and it's the jumping off point for her and her husband Alan after what was supposed to be the luxury cruise of a lifetime. Sydney will now likely be the high point of their trip.
Alan and I have had one river cruise before COVID. And during COVID, like everybody else, we sat there and thought of all the things we wanted to do with our lives. We signed up for this ocean cruise. We've never done that before.
And they probably won't do it again. Their highly anticipated getaway got waylaid because of Biofoul, as the New York Times headline calls it. The 14-day adventure for the Todds began in New Zealand. The liner departed from Auckland and then departed from the planned itinerary everyone spent thousands for, all because of a possibly toxic organism thought to be small snails found on the hull. Australia has strict rules on marine biosecurity, and they absolutely told the ship it could not enter the country's waters, which meant the many planned stops were also not going to happen. For a time, the ship was left adrift, 16 miles off Adelaide, Australia, then ultimately at sea for 6 days, with only a brief emergency stop in Melbourne. Shades of the pandemic. It's not COVID that's affecting you, but the memories.
It feels just like it.
Yes.
Andre, it's just like it. It's another round of disappointments that you have to keep taking and taking and taking, just like COVID. But we're already COVID fatigued, so this is even harder. And there are people who came from as far away as England for this trip. We traveled 22 hours in the air to get here, and then 22 hours back without having had the trip is not going to be fun. We left port on the 22nd. We had one stop at Rotorua. Then we had a sea day, which was Christmas. On Christmas Day at sea, the captain told us that we had a problem that would have to be addressed.
The Orion had to find a dive team to clean the hull. And at Christmas time, that wasn't easy. The new reality was setting in, and it didn't sit well with many passengers.
We get a daily update from the captain. We get a daily letter. They do tell us if there's a change of plans. Unfortunately, every time they raised our hopes, they had to dash them again because of how this worked out. There are some very upset people. People are handling it just the way they did with COVID. You know, some people manage better than others. So, but we're all stuck on this ship, and so we're trying to get along. It's not the crew's fault.
Leslie is a therapist and Alan is a clinical psychologist. They needed all their skills to manage the disappointment.
We were so looking forward to this bucket list trip, and it turned out differently than we thought. And I think I have to give myself several weeks to process this back in my real world at home, because I'm still in an altered state of reality out here. As an observer of human behavior, which I am, I've been really impressed with the crew, the professionalism of this crew. They're as disappointed as we are. They put on entertainment. They've made up shows. You know, we have brilliant entertainers on the ship. They keep it going. The serving staff never gets a break because we're never off the ship to eat someplace else. So the chefs have to come up with meals when they're running out of supplies. You know, the captain is not in charge of the decisions. These are corporate decisions. There are some truly elderly people for whom this is their last trip. And that's heartbreaking to me. I mean, I'm middle old. I'm not old. And so I know I have other trips in my future. And then I met the lovely lady from London who this is her bucket list thing and she won't be able to do this again. So that was heartbreaking to hear too. But every human story is different. There's going to be a lot of those.
I appreciate you talking to us, and I'm sorry about this experience.
This is a first world problem. I'm stuck on a luxury liner. It is not. I'm not complaining.
Right.
I'm sad that we didn't see all the beautiful places in New Zealand, which we now call No Zealand, and Australia. But that's just how it works.
And Leslie Todd is a regular LPB contributor.